Hey everybody, it's Erin from Erin Makes and welcome to Card Making Wednesday. Today I'm going to show you a few different ideas to how to use your large background stamps or stamps that you may not have realized could also be used as a background. So we're going to make a few different cards, and guess what? The easiest part is there's no coloring involved. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to be using products from Prickley Pear Stamps, which we are also streaming live on Prickley Pear Stamps YouTube and Facebook, as well as Erin Reed Makes YouTube and Facebook. Links to Prickley Pear are down below, and I will add the rest of the links to all the other supplies. Sometimes I don't always realize everything I'm going to use until after I make all my prototypes, and that got done about a half an hour ago. So I will update all of the links to all the supplies that we're using today as soon as the video is over, and also the completed and probably some fast videos on all of these cards we're going to make today on the reels and shorts you can find on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and things like that. So if you need to check out either Prickley Pear or Erin Makes, links are down below, so you can hop back to either one, and please subscribe. So let's jump in and let me show you a couple of the cards that are here so far. So one of them, I have not made all the pieces yet, but this is the two that we're starting with because the other one is like a 2-for-1 deal. So I figure we'll just make it together. I already know it's really, really a cool card. So let's start with this guy first. This is the really cool one. We'll get to this one in a minute, and we're going to change the colors. I mean, I like the colors, but we're going to make it better. All right, so this one, and I'm going to be a little bit truthful. When I made this, I did a prototype. I always make prototypes of what we're doing, and I wasn't too thrilled with it. And what I wasn't thrilled about was the fact how, see right here, how it's raised, because I did this on another sheet of paper, right? And so when it got raised and when I embossed it, we're going to do some embossing, it left a gap, and that really bothered me. So we're going to do some masking. So I went and made a prototype of what the masking would look like. And this is on just your background sheet of paper. So we're going to show you how to do the masking, and then we're going to stamp over top. So this only requires the one sheet of paper and then your background card. That's it. 2 simple sheets of paper. It's really quite cool. Hey, Amy. Hello, Michelle. Okay, so how do you get this started? How do we go from a blank sheet of paper? Let me get my blank sheet of paper out. So a blank sheet of paper to a mask. And how do we go from here to here, right? So sticky notes are my friends. Sticky notes are pretty awesome. If you happen to have, and there is a few versions of this out there, scrapbook.com has some, I think ThermoWeb has some, I personally don't have any, but they're large reels of masking tape. Basically, it's like a sticky note, but in a roll, almost like a washi tape, and it's perfect for this use. But I'm going to show you kind of a workaround in case you do not have the fancy tape that comes from the other people. That does make life so much simpler, but there is a way around it if you have a sticky notes, because it's the same principle. Basically, we're just making sure that we're not stamping or blending into a space, because we don't want to add layers onto the card. We're wanting to do it all on the card itself. All right, so how are we going to do this? You can tell I've already got some layers here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take some sticky notes, and this is how I built my pieces. This is my strips. The reason for the washi tape is just to make it a little bit more secure and a little bit more together, so they don't come unaligned. I can reuse these over and over, but let me show you how I built one to begin with. So sticky note right here. Let's move this stuff off to the side. Here we go. See how it's just sticky, right? So sticky side right here. And then I'm going to take a second sticky note and place it. Use your eyeballs, go about halfway down. If we go too close to the edge, I mean, you could do that. It just makes it really hard to line up, right? So go close to the edge. And I also like using a really bright color of sticky note, because I definitely know the difference between what my background piece is going to be and what is my mask, right? Hey, Ashley. Hello, hello. And then because I'm doing the full length of my background, I'm going to make this extra long, right? So I'm lining these up, and I'm just being very, very careful about it, right? So there it is. So I lined them all up. Now, if I lift this up, they're going to kind of pull apart. That's where the washi tape came in. So I just took a little bit of washi tape, and I'm actually going to tweak this a little bit because I didn't like the big banner. It kept pulling on me. And when I stamped, it kind of made it mucky, a little bit mucky ducky. And then we're going to just kind of tape these together to create kind of a singular panel, is the best way to describe it. So again, if you've got the full line of tape, like if you've got the full roll, you don't have to do this step. Regardless of however you want to do it, that's what you're going to do. All right, now we're going to build everything into our stamping platform. All right, so See how this is just one piece now? I realized that you don't really need to have that as long as you have these two pieces here. So, and you can reuse these elements over and over and over and over. All right, so get rid of our masking panels here. All right, so now we have our card. And I need to put, I can't find my background paper. You guys know that paper that fits in here, you tear off a sheet? I've just been cutting copy paper and putting it in the back, and it's getting really mucky. But the nice thing about the background paper on this is it does have all the markers on there. So I'm gonna have to actually, I take this back. Normally I would do it on here, but I can't find my pad. I have one, it's somewhere. Any ideas? Not like you guys would know, but any fathom an idea of where somebody might put that in their craft room. Where would somebody hide that pad of paper that goes in there? Because I don't know where it went. It's like poof. And it's driving me bananas because I know I have it somewhere. I'll find it when I'm not looking for it in like 4 months. Go figure. In the meantime, this is my workaround. Copy paper inside of there. There are so many people that have gotten on. Hello, Amy. Hello, Pam. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Karen. Hello, hello, hello. And hello, everybody else who's gotten on and hasn't commented yet. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so my workaround, which I'm just going to put this off to the side, is I have my little station here, which I love. And it's got the magnets and it's got the grid marks on it. So whatever kind of grid marking you have to line this up, because we want to make this perfect as we can. Okay. So I'm going to line this up, and this is to make sure you get nice straight lines, because otherwise you're going to go off on a fun diagonal. You're going to go in weird ways, right? Wedged in between your paper stacks. Maybe. Yes, Michelle, it's very possible. It could be wedged in between my stupid and misty thing. And it's one of those things like, I know I have it. It is somewhere. So I refuse to buy a new version. Actually, I want to get away from going up against this thing right here. I want to go right in this corner so I can really see my guidelines right there. It's somewhere stupid. I know it is. Okay. Now, if you're looking at the prototype, I'm not going all the way to the edge on this one. I want to leave a little bit of a border, right? With my stencils or my cling stamps. See, thank you guys. Oh, I don't know why that's glitching. Hang on, let me fix it's like pulling, my cord is pulling. Maybe it's in somewhere stupid. Thank you guys. I'm going to start going through. I'm going to go back and look at all the comments of where you think I might have put it. And I'm going to check all those places because it's driving me bonkers. And it's somewhere stupid. That's the thing. It's not where I would have normally thought to put it. So keep throwing the ideas down there. I'll look at all the places. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. And this is why I have a grid line. Now I want to see the line at the bottom. I'm going to go 2 squares over. So I'm going to give myself 2 squares as an empty space right here. So I'm going to line this up right here. And I'm going to line up right there. And now I know I have a nice straight line. This is all in order right here. So straight line. And I'm going to take one of my other ones that I did. And because I like the spacing of what I did on here, I'm just going to line this up and go, okay, it's about, I'm going to go to this big line right here, the big thick one. I like it because it borders, and there's like a fur. My dog is deciding to craft with me because he brought his fur to the table into the sticky. So now I'm going to go to the big thick line. And I can really see, and I make sure, oops, this got a little warpy. So that doesn't look like that's fully in line. So it's sticky. Guess what? You can pick it up and line it up. So now I've got 2 full panels that are in line, and I've like made them as perfect as I possibly can. All right. So let's move all these guys. I can put these here. Carefully lift up my paper. There we go. So now I've got panels, and you can see that they're all in line. They look straight. Let's move this out of the way. And the one thing I did find is because of my size of my Misty, this is too, really got to get a cleaner one. It's really getting gross in here. Vales is Misty. I got to trim the end of this off because it's just too wide with the sticky notes. That's why these ones were thinner. So I'm just kind of trimming a little bit to the side there. And I can reuse these panels. It's really easy to make. It's not like you have to use, keep reusing them. And it's just if you want to. Okay, so the next part about it is that we want to have a bottom, because in the example, that's where we're putting our sentiment. This one, I did this sheet and I made this whole panel here, and then I glued it on, and then I embossed, and I didn't like that. I wasn't a big fan of that, right? So I want to go with something different. So now we're going to add a sticky note. And what I did is I put a sticky note here, and I eyeballed this one, which I really shouldn't, but I'm going to go a little further down. I want to have a little less room. So the bottom of my square is right here. It's perfectly in line. And we're going to go with that. And that is now the panel we're going to work in. This is the space that we're working in. I always have the opinion that if it looks good to the eye, meaning that when I see it with my eyeball, if it looks straight and it looks clean, I'm good to go. Now we're going to stamp. And because we're kind of doing some black on black, I don't want to do it too heavy. So in this one, I went and I did a couple of layers, but you really kind of get lost a little bit with the background. You kind of see it, but so we're going to kind of play with that a little bit. So we're using the cling stamp. This one is, well, it's pretty obvious. It's called chicken wire background. So this is Prickly Pear. Sorry, everything got stuck together. The glory of cling stamps is they cling to everything, including the plasticky paper. So this is the chicken wire. Look how cool this is. And I am going to layer this right here. I'm going to go bigger than the space. So you could totally do the entire background of your card. But the nice thing about a background stamp is that you also can just mat it off and do just small sections of it. You don't have to do the whole thing. All right. Everything wants to pull up because it's still sticky. Yay, sticky. Okay, but this is still good. And this just needs to be as close to possible. All right, so lines up, it's good. We're gonna get our ink. Now, make sure whatever ink you're using, and I did have a boo-boo with my ink. I had the wrong kind of ink for a little bit. You wanna get one that when you blend it, it's not a problem, you know, and it doesn't cause any issues. And so, meaning that when you go in and blend with a color, you don't get gray smudges. So I'm gonna ink that up. Move that up to the top so I can actually get my stamp down. I'm using my little tool here, which is the Make It by Marco. It's their glue holder, but it works great as a Chucky tool. Somebody said I could put some felt on the bottom. I totally could, but it's not damaging anything with this. It's going on nice and smooth. So I did one pass on this, and you can see all the extra stamping on here, and that's totally fine. I did one pass on this, and I'm going to leave it like that. I don't want to go any heavier because I want it just to be a very kind of subtle background piece. Now, while this is on here, before I pull everything off, we're going to do our ink blending. So I've got a couple of different colors. We're going to do, we have some pink peony. There's just nothing wrong with blending on here. And I can even come in and I can, because this is magnetic too, I have my magnets from my station. I can pull in and I can use that to kind of help hold it all down. So it's magnetic, doesn't matter. We're also going to use, where's the other one? Oh, here it is, the Hero Arts. So we're going with blue. We're going with pinks and purples. And I have my, everything off the table is like chaos around here. So I've got my, I'm going to do my lighter color first. I've got a big blending brush and just come in and just kind of hit. Don't be too crazy about going nuts. Oh, this was the problem. And this is what I meant to tell you guys. Right along here, along this washi tape, I forgot to do it. So it kind of got a little smudgy there. Take a towel or something and do a quick wipe because all of the ink on the washi tape just wants to wipe off. It doesn't want to stick to it, which is why I didn't do it over here because this doesn't wipe off. If it's got washi along the edge, it's going to want to rub. And I got a little smudge-a-rooney right there. So just gently wet off, paper towel or something so you don't get the smudge factor that I did. So I'm just kind of coming in and I'm going on a diagonal with the pinky color. This is the pink peony. And then I'm going to do the purple and I'm going to switch because I don't have enough blender brushes for all my colors. I don't have a purple for whatever, or my purple is like super tiny and I don't like that. Hey, Jane, hello. And then I'm going to come in and this one is the Hero Arts. This is Grape Slush. And yes, you can totally blend different colors or different brands of ink. I'm going to go into that spot that was really gray because it got grayed out from, I forgot to wipe off my washi tape. And I'm just going to hit some of the other, kind of go in the other direction. I'm not worried about, it's okay if there's a lighter section. It's okay if it's a darker section. Just blend it in. Have some fun with it. We're not going for like a super, it's just colorations. And you can do any colors you want. I picked these colors because we're going to be doing the lavender, and lavender has kind of a purpley tone, but the lavender itself is not a color. It's just going to be blacked out. So there is that. Let's go ahead and pull off all of these and pull up our mask. Now, we want to keep this bottom one, so I'm just going to gently pull up and remove the sides. There we go. Pulling from the wrong direction. Can you tell which way the sticky notes were laid on top? If you pull from the correct direction, look how nice and clean that is now, right? This one, let's see if I can get this one. Ah, I did it wrong both times. If you pull the sticky notes from the right order, it doesn't do that. If you pull it from the wrong way, they're going to keep going the wrong direction. All right, we're leaving this in here. Okay, and we're going to put this down at the bottom because we want to have a clean cut off, but we're also going to want to do our stamp. And my stamp, which we're going to get to that now. Let's take this guy off. It's buried in here. This time we're going to deal with, oops, look at this beautiful stamp. Isn't that gorgeous? That lavender stamp. Again, these are all Prickly Pear stamps. They're absolutely wonderful. We're going to keep this mask here because we're going to go lower than what we need to. So now I can kind of play. See how I can go lower, but it's going to have a clean, oop, that light is like not showing you anything. So we're going lower. So we're going to keep that mask. It's okay if I go a little higher off the board or off the page. It's totally cool. What type of ink did you use to stamp? I used my Simon Says Stamp Intense Black. I used a couple of them. The first one I used that did not work and it smudged was, which is kind of funny. I use this one, which again is a solvent-based permanent ink, and it's also an intense black, but it smudged a little bit. Not horribly, but this one didn't do as good of a job. So I switched to this and it did a great job. I also tried my little tiny one that I just got in from my Crisp Dye ink from Alt New. It smudged a little bit too. So just because it says like dye ink or, you know, like not all dye inks are the same, I would test it. And I probably have, I have about 6 or 7 different dye inks. Maybe I didn't let it dry long enough. This one you saw, I didn't really have a whole lot of time. The only part that smudged was along the washi tape because I forgot to wipe it off. But once it was stamped on there, it was good to go. I could blend right away. So just do a test run on your stamps just to check what ink. But this one, works pretty darn good. So yay. Not all inks are created equal. Some are better for one thing and rock at another thing. So it just depends on what you're using it for. So I would not use embossing with this, which is why we're going to use a different embossing. Okay, let's move on. Where is my embossing puff? Okay, seriously, there it is. Okay, so I like this state. Let's get this cleared off. Sorry about the bright lights, but otherwise it gets really washed out. So here I have this, the mask is on there. We're going to go ahead and pull this up. Misty is my best friend on this. I'm just going to double check because it kind of shifted. Yep. There's no wrong way to do this. Sorry about the dog. Now, the nice thing about this, doing everything in here and using the mats versus what I did here is because this I just cut and I stuck it down. And then I did this next step. It works. There's nothing wrong with it. It just bugged me that there's a gap, right? So now that we have a flush sheet of paper, there's a fly. Go away, Mr. Fly. It's that season that we have around here. Now that we have a flush sheet of paper, we're not going to have those gap issues and it'll stamp much nicer. So we're going to go ahead and this is the embossing powder that I have. It's really old. This is from Clear Snap, which is no longer in function, but there's a lot of clear embossing powders out there that will work just wonderfully. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this whole thing up. Make sure I get all my corners because it's those little edges that are kind of coming off the side that we're wanting to do. And I got, you know, she is an amazing card maker. This was inspired. It's not a direct ripoff, but it's or a copy or a homage. This was a Jennifer McGuire idea. So I love to get inspired by lots of different artists and I tend to take it my own direction. But yeah, this was definitely, I saw a card of hers and I was like, ooh, that's kind of a fun idea. And then I went my own way with it, but nothing wrong with getting inspired. That's why you're watching this video. Hopefully it'll inspire you to pull out some of your supplies. Okay, so really get it on there. I can see that it's on there. We're going to lift up and now I can remove my mat. I don't need that anymore. Put this off to the side. We're going to come back to this in a minute. I'll just kind of put this off to the side. Now we are going to emboss. I use this for something different, but basically all you need is copy sheets of paper. There's all kinds of fancy tools like this thing for embossing. I don't really get into that. We're going to use black, but there is, well, you know what? Maybe we'll do something different. I know there's a tiny bit of black. Let's look. I have all my embossing powders. What did I do with them? I just had, they're there. Maybe you guys can help me decide. So let me pull out some options. So I have a clear, but that's just you're not going to see that. I also have a silver. You guys tell me what you think might look good. I don't know what that is. I have a sterling. That could look kind of pretty. So it's a gray on there. Oh, we could do gold. Gold would look kind of cool. What do you guys think? Gold. Oh, I have gold sparkles. So that could be, because the black, I think, kind of hides. What do you guys think? The black hides a little bit. So let's do a contrasting color, right? Thinking my stays on should work. Yes, stays on should be good. I don't want to wait too long. Let's go with the gold glittery. Let's do that one. I think that would look really nice. There's nothing wrong with going in and changing it up and having some fun. So we did the black the first time around. And if it's a dud, I have a backup. We can do another one. So let's go with the gold. So we're going to do, oops, where did I do it? Here it is. Gold. And again, this is from Color Blocks, but there's a lot of really, really good. Maybe we'll do silver next. We'll do 2 of them. All right, so let's put this on here. We'll try them, see what happens. Oh, you can tell my AC is on because the powder's like flying that way. Anybody catch that? This is why I do it on a sheet of copy paper. Maybe we'll do both. We'll see what happens because I have the other one. I have this one already done as well. So let's try, see what happens. All right, so shake, shake, shake. Oh, look at that. Look at that pop. All right. I always want to do like shake, 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 Sonora, shake your bottom line. Shake, 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 Sonora. All right, now you want to get a brush. Sorry, I'm being really silly today. I had one brush, I didn't like it. So at first I had, and I still might use this, you just want to use this to kind of clear out the yuck. Get some of that extra. Maybe I like this one better. It still didn't do the greatest job on the side. Maybe I should have done a double stamp, but I think it's going to look, it's already looking prettier with the gold on there. And as soon as I emboss that, it's going to look awesome. All right, so that's fine to stay on there while I clean this up. So what I do is I use my little tidy tray. I put my embossing powder in there. This is just how I clean it up. Everybody has their own method. I'd love to know what you guys use for embossing powders. And then I use my paper because it can kind of get up there. And I just really shake. And if this tray gets kind of gross, no big deal. You're late. Well, no, you can. It's okay. It's called replay, and you can always jump in the middle of the video. Don't worry about it, Dawn. It's all good. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jane. Hello, hello. And hello, Vidette. If I missed you, Heather, hello, hello. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. Okay, so clean up a little bit around here. I try not to leave too much on my desk because then it can get nasty. And then I've got my heating tool. I have my really old school Marvy. This thing has been battered and bruised and well worn, but I love it. It's awesome. And because I don't want to get hot, I'm going to use my little reverse tweezers. These are really cool. And again, I'll put all the links to everything in the meantime, but all the stamps and dies that we're using today can be found at Prickley Pear, and they're down below. So I'm going to turn this on. It's going to get loud for a quick second. It's usually not too bad. Now, you know when your embossing powder is done because it kind of changes color and it does like this little sparkle on you and kind of looks like it fuzzes up. So just kind of, you don't want to let it hold too long. I'm moving it around, but I want to get it there. And then we'll try the silver. We'll see what we like better. I didn't do the greatest job on the pieces coming off the page, but it's okay. I'll do a better job stamping the next one. I think they're all done. There, you have a snappy tray you've had for 20 years. That's cool. I think, you know, whatever you like, whatever you use. Now there is the gold. Look how pretty that is. That is some shininess compared to the black. I don't know, like they're cool, right? They're both fun. Hey, Jan. So, I mean, which one do you guys, the black or the gold? Let's try the silver just for grins and giggles. I already have everything set up on the Misty. So if I've got it going, this is a great way to do mass production. I'm going to use the same one right here, line it up. There we go. And then go ahead and stick my mats down and then get this guy lined up. So yeah. Awesome way to do, I mean, it's kind of finicky with the masks, but as soon as you make your mask, as soon as you make your panel, the rest of it goes really fast. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. We're going to use that. Let's get that on there. It's going to pull up and stick. Go back down. All right. I made a boo-boo. Do you guys see my boo-boo? There was ink inside the stamp, and when I stamped it, I left a smudge. So that's why I was like, this is, but you know, it's a trial. There's nothing wrong with just seeing how it looks, what happens to it. So I'm going to do a much better job getting those corner. Well, I'm really going to do everywhere. I'm actually going to stamp this twice just to make sure it gets good and coated. Go on, lid. So we're going to do this one twice, and I'm really going to get into these ones here. I think the main parts are going to be fine. It's just all the extras are the ones that are going to have a problem. Pull up. And then I can see it on there, but I really want to get it nice and coated on those edge pieces that pop off the color. There we go. And then really press into those. And maybe it's because it was off to the side. It just dried out as I was finding it. So let's not let this dry too long. There is a length of time for how long you should let it sit before your embossing powder, your sticky ink, this ink, before you should use it, because otherwise it can dry out and it doesn't work as well. And there are many inks out there that you can use. You can even emboss with like distress inks. There's nothing wrong with that either. So it just depends on what you want. All right, so let's get our pieces of paper. We're going to do silver on this one. I think I pulled it out. Yeah, here's silver. Now this is a matte silver. This is not a sparkle silver. So again, we're just playing. We're just having some fun. This is more like a gray, I think. And truthfully, I've had a lot of, I always overdo it because it's just going right back in the bottle anyway. So no big deal. So I really coat it. Does anybody else do that too? Do you guys like pour it on and make it go crazy? Because, just going back in the bottle. There, look, that took a whole lot better. Just a couple more. Misties are awesome like that, or any kind of stamp positioner that you have. They really do make a big difference in the clarity and the crispness. So I'm going in with my brush and just clearing off. I can already see the beautiful gray. In person, it looks a lot more oomphy than it does on camera, I think, because it gets washed out a tiny bit when it's on camera, but it still looks good. So just going to pull off. So even though we're kind of working, if you want to think about it, with two different background stamps, because the lavender stamp is a very big background stamp as well, right? Practice card to work out through the, I always do a card before we go live. Well, the exception of the last card we're going to do together. That one, because I've done that kind of card before. I don't need to practice that one. Watch me screw it up now. I will totally screw it up. There we go. So back in there. I always do this. And I always cap these. Okay, how many of you, it could be glitter, it could be embossing powder, it could be whatever it is, you forget to cap it and you do it like maybe once or twice in your crafting career, and then it gets everywhere. You're like, crap, I thought I did that. So I always cap them. It's one of those things that you get in the habit of doing, and even though it's kind of one of those, like I'm on video and I'm wasting time by capping instead of just pushing it off to the side, because I do a lot, big cleanup after videos are done, especially the lives. It makes a big difference. So I don't make a giant mess, then have to clean up a big mess on video, or just in your craft space in general, because if you guys could see the desk right now, it is bananas. All right, heat time again. Let's use my little tweezer doodads here. I love it because I can just hold it. Isn't that great? You're not yet. You're waiting for the day for it to happen. Well, if you cap them, it'll never happen. All right, so waiting for it to heat. It's going to have a little change in its texture. Oh, this one is going to turn to silver. Do you guys see that change? Ooh, it doesn't look shimmery silvery. As soon as you heat it, it's really cool. This one's got a big wow effect as you heat it. I love that. Something about embossing is just so fun. And it's something I forget to pull out sometimes. I don't know why, because it really is cool. There we go. And there's this, look at that. Look at that card. Look at that shimmer shine. So now we've got this really cool background. So we've masked. So we've done gold, we've done silver, and this is one with black. So again, stamping the background. I like the fadedness of this background, but the crispness is kind of cool too. It's almost like you have a chain link fence, and then you have stamped with like florals, but we're doing the color with the ink blending versus coloring this. You could also do the stamp with the mask like I showed you. Do what we did here, and then watercolor in the flower. That could look really cool as well. So now we got to do the stamp at the bottom. Back to the Misty. Lots of Misty action happening here. So we have worked with the chicken wire stamp so far from Prickley Pear Stamps. We've also done the lavender stamp. There is a die that goes with it, but we're not working with a die today. We're just playing with it. And then we're going to pull a really cute sentiment out of this. So let's pull. And the lavender stamp also has a stamp on it that says lavender. So you get that stamp as well. So it's really pretty. There's lots of fun things that go with that. Now we're going to pull from this really, really fun, cute set. And, you know, instead of doing the floral, I had debated, and I thought it would have been kind of cute. And maybe we should have done that for the other one. But they also have these really adorable chickens. And it's just like this funky, funky chicken. You can see on the back, they've colored them really fun, bright colors. And that was an option that I was going to stamp, color in, die cut out, and then set it over top of this. But I like the floral idea better. But you could have done that. That was a thought of mine. But it's got like, I'm so crazy. I'm so glad you're my mother, crazy beautiful. It's got Hey Girl Hey. It's got all kinds of fun ones. And this stamp set is called Hey Girl Hey. So it's really quite cute. It's adorable. So get your chickens in there. But we're just going to use the sentiments off this one. Okay, so we are going to place this in here. I'm going to go ahead and line it up in the corner so I can use my stamps twice. Actually, I matted one and not the other, so we're going to have to adjust them. And I'm going to go ahead and place on. It says, I'm so glad you're my, and then we're going to do friend. And I'm just lining it up at the bottom, keeping it the same. Not going anything crazy on this. And we're just going to do that in black. And that finishes the card. Besides putting it on the back, there's my black. It's right in front of me. Right in front of me. So which one is your favorite? I know I haven't completely finished them, but you can see the gold, you can see the silver, and you can see the black. Which one is kind of, and the gold and the silver, because of the amount of lights I have on me, so I don't get, washed out. That looks pretty good. That's nice and dark enough. So because I have all the lights, they're really sparkling, but when I tilt it, you can kind of see it a little bit better. So which one is your favorite? Because there's always somebody who's like, I like that one. Oh, that actually works really well. We're going to do that. Stamp, stamp, stamp. How's everybody's day going? My kids are in the last couple of weeks of school. We have this week and next week. And this week for my two younger kids, they have STAR testing. Oh my goodness. Texas has this state mandated test. And let me tell you the craziness with this. I understand the purpose of the test. I get it. But there's lots of issues I feel like I have with state mandated tests. For instance, I have some kids, my middle child, brilliant, but to sit and take a test is a pain in his tuchus because he's severely ADHD. And that is a lot of work for him to sit there and take a test. And then we had this conundrum today. So my daughter's in 4th grade. And she actually came home from school sick yesterday. No fever, just really stuffy, really congested. Did not feel good. She didn't have a test yesterday, but she has one today. She only takes 2 tests. This was the second one. We don't know what the situation is. If she doesn't show up to take her test, it doesn't count really. It's more of a practice. But she had it ingrained in her head from school and everything else. I cannot miss. Even if I'm sick, I got to be there. I got to be there. So she got up and I was like, if you're like, I'm waiting on the phone call to say, Mom, come get me. I don't feel good. But she wanted to be there. But what would happen if she didn't go? Like, we don't know the policy. That wasn't told to us. And they're not going to say, don't worry about it. But it does matter and it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's a mess. You hate mandated testing. Yeah, I mean, I do see a point in it. Let's finish the cards while we're chatting. I do see the point in it for a few different reasons. One, because you want to make sure that the kids are accountable. And I worked with these teachers. I was surrounded by them. Not at every school, but there was always 1 or 2 teachers that literally just passed all their kids for showing up. It was like they just didn't do anything. All right. And it was biology. That's what I taught. I taught high school biology, chemistry, physics. That one's just got this one I didn't mat. This one I matted. And then I think I have another sheet I've already cut. Yeah. And we'll do no mat on the last one as well. So, how can I guarantee that biology teacher taught the right information to their students when I know for sure they didn't? And I felt bad for every kid that was in that class. And how else can you keep the teacher accountable for the content? Because I think it's more for the teachers than anything than the students. All right. Crazy rant on their own. I'm done now. I'm done. It's just that the world I'm living in at this moment is crazy testing. So 3 different cards using a matted background. Well, there's the same card, just 3 different colors. I stuck with the purple for all of them. This one was done on a separate sheet of paper. I cut out the back mat, stuck it down, and then heat embossed, but it's got gaps, which is why I didn't like it. The second cards, so here we have the gold and the silver, sorry, gold and silver. We did the matte and then we heat embossed, and I didn't put enough on this one, so it's got a little bit of a boo-boo, but it's okay. And then this one is the silver, and it really shines as you turn it. And I can definitely, like in the light, it almost hides on the white, but as I lift it up, you really can see it pop. So it's really fun. Hey, the owner Prickly Pear is on. Hello, hello. Hey, Sharon. All right, so that is our first card. Let's move on to our second card. So our second card, we are working with this beautiful wood grain stamp. This one is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is so pretty. So here we have this wood grain stamp, and I have already stamped it. And we're going to do a mini slimline. So I've already stamped it to the perfect size, which the mini slimline, or the size that I like for a mini slimline, because it works, is you take a 6x6 sheet of paper. So here's 6x6, you fold it in half, and then your card is a 3x6. I love working with different sizes of cards because it's just a ton of fun. So let me pull out the one that I made ahead of time. And it's green. I even tried, you know what, let me pull out the other prototype I made. I wasn't entirely thrilled. I even made like a wood colored one, but I'm not like thrilled with it. Looks too yellowy. I didn't have the right color. So I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have to be wood colored. So we're going to go with a completely different color. We're going to go with blue, because why not? Let's just have some fun. It's playtime. The whole point of getting out there and creating is, what if you don't like it? What if it's not perfect? Then change it, alter it in some way. So now that we have our wood grain, and I went ahead and stamped it ahead of time because I knew the other card was going to take a little while, but it's cool. It's a fun technique. It's lots of fun. And instead, we're going to go with a really pretty blue raspberry. I love my teals. Maybe it's just because I like these colors. That's where I gravitate to. So that's what we're going to do. You could make it pink. You can make it whatever you want, right? The gold and silver is too bright. Yeah, it's because it's so shiny. With the gold and the silver on those cards, it's because so when I tilt it this way, you can really, because the light's not hitting it directly, it's not so, oh my God, in your face. But in person, see, that's probably a better interpretation of how bright those other cards are, right? Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of some teal on here, and I'm going to move my pieces there, and then just light. There's wood color that's in teal color, right? We're going to make it that way anyway. Doesn't matter. And I know I'm supposed to like off page and come in. We're going to have some darker areas and some lighter areas. Put that there. You're supposed to like start off and then move in so you don't get these markings like I have here. Pay no attention to what I'm doing. There's ways to fix it, which is what I'm kind of doing right now. So I'm coming in and then I'm really focusing next to it and then just kind of hitting it so it doesn't look so like I hit it with my brush. All right, so that's looking pretty good on that side. Maybe a little more in this corner. There we go. Oops, see, I made oopsies. I'm rushing, and I shouldn't rush ink blending because this is why I also like making, usually I make a much bigger size than what I'm using for the actual card. And I didn't do that this time. And then I can cut that off. But we're gonna fix it. We're gonna try to fix it anyway. So it's on the mat here. I'm really getting into ink blending lately. I don't know why. It's like a thing for me. I think it's just therapeutic. And it's kind of fun to see the colors and the swirls and the patterns, you know, and having the right inks really makes a difference. I don't think I've had the right ink for a long time. And I think that's really, it's made it harder when you don't have the right kind of ink pad for it. So we have some lights, we have some darks. And again, this is one of the Hero Hues. I just got this, so I love it. Some like card swap. I ask, so I do host a card swap. Here we go. If you're ever interested in joining, we have one that's currently going on. Just look up Erin Reed Makes Card Swap. It's a Facebook group. You'll find it. You can probably find some of my old videos on my channel, but it's open to everybody worldwide. All right, so let's start assembling. So my hands are mucky. I need to clean my hands real fast. So while I'm cleaning my hands, let's chat. So I always post what the next swap is going to be. And I always ask everybody, like, what's the theme? So by default, I always default to A2 size because then we don't have to swap envelopes. But if we choose to do a different size, I ask you guys every time, like, what do we want to do? And then whatever the popular vote is. And right now it's all beach and summer themes. So anything summer related, picnic, vacation, beach, under the sea, Mai Tai, adventure, mountains, anything that you would think would be summer related, anything that fits into that category. That's what the theme is. And so it's a very broad concept. But the caveat for this one is that it's an A2 size, because that was what was picked by the group. So if we want to do something different, then when I put the poll up, get more people to vote, because this is for you guys. You guys decide what we're going to do for those swaps. So you guys made the choice. All right, hands are clean. Now we're going to, it looks like water. That's kind of cool. Oh, so it's going to be a water rose. That's fun. I didn't even think about it. See, sometimes you just do it and then you don't realize it. So is that magnetic board able to stay attached to the table? This one, this little guy, it's like a plate. I guess you could screw it in, and this is a small one. She has a much bigger one. This is from Wendy Vici, but it's got these holes, so I think you could hang it up, but I guess you could drill, but then you would have holes in the way. I don't know. I do have a glass board. I just didn't pull it out for today, but I have a giant glass board that fits on my desk. It's like 24 by like 18. It's huge. It fits almost my whole desk, and it's magnetic. So if you're wanting something really big, that I think is a much better option. It gets really glary on here. Is that a word, glary? We're going to go with glary. All right, let's go ahead and put these down so I don't lose them. But you're right, it does look like water. I didn't even think about that. So wood grain, guys, it looks like water ripples. That is such a cool, who said that? Karen, smart cookie. Smart cookie. It does look like that. You have a larger one, but the small one's cute. Yes. I love the small one, this little make station. Again, I'll put all the links to all the other stuff I'm doing, but all the stamps are already down there. Look at Prickley Pear. Prickley Pear stamps is already down there. Because I can fit this in my drawer, and it fits in the same drawer as my tape run, or like as my other tools. So I've got my MISTI, and I've got like flat drawers underneath me. So this fits with my MISTI and also my paper trimmer. And because they're all kind of flat, and it works really nicely. So there you go. All right, now what did I also do? And I forgot to do it on this one, so we're going to do both at the same time. So this right here, I have already stamped. This is the rose stamp. Let me pull it out. And it is a beautiful rose. It's also got the word rose, but look at the beautifulness. And there is a die set that goes with it. And it has, you can either die cut the top of it. So I could take this and line it across the top, which I didn't bother doing a perfect stamp because we're only pulling the big rose out of here. I thought I had another. It's okay, I'm missing a sheet of paper somewhere. I guess I don't make okay, sorry. Total brain fart on that in a minute, but I'll get back to it. So, but you also have the smaller die where you can just die cut out the single rose, which is what I did there. Okay. So we are going to ink blend. We're going to pull out just some really pretty red. So I'm going to blend it first. This time I'm going to come off the page. What I was just kerfutzing about, and going, where's my other sheet of paper, is because I'm ink blending here, but I want to bring in the leaves in the background. But I can't do that if I'm doing all the ink blending, and then when I die cut it, it becomes a problem as well. So that's why I stamped it twice, really just focusing on the leaves for the second one, because we're going to do that one as well. And that one I have to fussy cut. So I stamped it one time, blending it in. This is a no coloring cards, guys. We're going with simple. We're going with easy. We're going with just fun and cute. And where is my green? There's my green. And then we're going to pull the green. And I have a little green blender, and we're going to do just the leaves on this one. I just want the couple of leaves. So now I don't have to stamp on another color. Whoops. You can just use your inks. It was funny. I don't know when she had it up, but I saw a video of Justine Hoovey on how she had like this, I think it was pretty recently. It was just one of her reels or something. And it was like a die set, and it was like a paint palette. And at first glance, you look at it and you think, oh, I got to cut every single one of these little colors out of colored paper. And she said, no, die cut it all first. And then just go in with your marker. You can go in with your ink blenders and color blend the colors versus pulling out all the different colors of cardstock, because that's kind of gets really futzy. Use your inks to your advantage. If you have them, blend them. You could use your markers. You could watercolor it. I mean, there's so many options instead of pulling out cardstock. Not that we don't have a bajillion colors of cardstock, but sometimes it's just different and you're just wanting a change of pace. And if you already have all the ink colors, why not? I tend to not use them. So I'm purposely trying to pull all my colors of ink because I have them and I don't use them enough. So that's like my goal is to use my inks more than just black to stamp with. Have fun with it. Okay, so that we're going to have to fussy cut. Now we are going to die cut this. So I'm going to place this, and I don't need all the extra stuff around here. There we go. So I'm just going to use a little sheet of paper, line this up on here. There we go. Is everybody ready for summer? I don't know. I used to have, as a teacher, I was so ready. As a parent, I am ready as well because I don't want to have to wake up so early. I am so bad. I'm at the point where I'm like, I just want to sleep in a little bit, but give me a couple weeks and I'm going to be like, these kids got to go back to school. Mom's got to work and I can't do everything. And, but you know, we did it for a while while everybody was virtual. All right. So I'm just die cutting out that rose, that beautiful rose. There we go. I love that my little mini maker. It makes life so easy for die cutting out small pieces. It was not the perfect cut, but it's good. Some people are like, it must be absolutely perfection. I'm of the opinion of how much does it bug me that it is not perfect? How much do I care? And everybody's got their own opinion. The fact that it's a little bit off. So what I'm going to do, just because that's going to bug me, the top part is fine. So I'm just going to fussy cut this because I did not line that up as well as I should have. And that happens. I'm sure it happens to all of you. So I'm just going to fix it real fast because it got just misaligned by a tiny bit. So now, haha, not so obvious anymore now, is it? All right, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this. I'm just going to cut in it. We're going to tuck them underneath. I just need a couple of the leaves. So I don't need it to be super perfect along here because it's going to get tucked under. And I'm just fussy cutting. You could skip the step. That card does not have the leaf on it, but this one's going to, just to show you that you can. And, you know, some people, fussy cutting is super therapeutic. They love it. Not normally my jam, but I don't mind doing those small things like this. If it was a big one, like to fussy cut that dude right there, like that giant, that was part of the reason why I didn't do it. I don't have the die for it. I was like, nope. I just don't. I don't get the joy. Some people get into it, or like the coloring. Like some people take a coloring book with their coloring pencils and just sit, and they absolutely love it. Again, not my jam, not my thing. Everybody's got their thing. I like layering. I like doing new techniques. I like the ink blending. For some reason, I like ink blending, but I don't like the coloring as much. Sometimes I do, but I also feel like I'm investing. So this is part of it. For ink blending, I stamp it, I ink blend on top, I make it look pretty. If it didn't work, guess what? It didn't take me a huge amount of time because I'm doing lots of layers and fun stuff with my cards. So if one step gets screwed up, I'm okay. With coloring though, and I've done this before, it still like bugs me to this day. I stamp it, I color it, it's perfect. And then for some reason, I dropped my ink pad on top of it. And I had just spent 45 minutes coloring this beautiful background scene. It was like mystical and fairies and like toadstools. And it was really, and I did a really good job on it. I really wanted to make a good job on it. And I dropped my ink pad on top of it and like ruined it. 45 minutes of my work down the drain. It was not salvageable in any way. I even was like, what if I do layers? And I was just so frustrated with myself that I did that. I was like, and then I had to do it all over again because it was for a video, but still. Like that's the part that just like, so much time. The chicken dies just came in. Oh, how fun. I love it. There are dies. I just don't personally have them. There are chicken dies that go with this. So you can die cut out those chickies. Love, love, love. All right. So I have already die cut out. Sorry, now that we've die cut out, I've already cut the strips for the rest of our elements here. We're going to snippy this one end. And I'm not going to go too close on this end because I want to tuck it under the flower. So for this side, notice I didn't go too far because I want to be able to tuck it under. So I'm going to line this up on here about to the point where I feel like it needs to be. There we go. And then right there. I don't want it to go all the way to the end because I don't want it to look like it was made to mat that. I just want it to be like a strip that I added a sentiment to. The stamp here is coming from this really cute bookshelf one. Again, this is one that I would stamp. I would color it and then screw it up somehow. As much as it's like so much fun to, because this is a fun coloring one for me because it's not a whole lot of blending. Each book would be a different color. I'd have a plant, it's a fun little set of eyeballs, there's a little kitty cat, like with a little mouse on there. Like this would be a fun coloring one, but I'd be so afraid I would screw it up. So I'd rather watercolor on top of it, which would look really pretty too. But I love the sentiments that are on here. Sorry, I got stuck. So I did make time to take time for you. I think that is super important. I love that sentiment. Rest, nap, repeat. Napping helps. Hello, get well soon. Lazy days are just what the doctor ordered. I think that would look cute on this too. And then feel better soon. So I love the sentiments that go with this stamp. And I think there's so much fun to it now. I don't think I could do it now. My grandson is wearing me out. Sorry, I'm going back to reading what you guys, I happened to pick somewhere in the middle of that conversations and I have no idea what's going on. But hello, everybody else. Hi, David. I haven't said hi to you yet. And Carol, Joan, hello, hello, hello. All right, so now that we got this on here, let's put our strip on here. Here we go. Get our little strip. Feel like it just adds something on here. If I didn't do that, I would feel like my rose is floating in midair. So I love the idea. I forget who said it now. I think it was Sarah who was on here. She says, this looks like, maybe I had the wrong person, but whoever said it, thank you, thank you. It does look like water. So now the wood grain also can look like water ripples when you use the right color. It's totally like awesome, right? So we're going to add our rose. And this is why I did a little extra of the white. So that way it doesn't look like it's cut off. You could do a whole strip of white, but I don't really want to do that. So we're going to add our little flower here. And let's go ahead and pop that up just for grins and giggles. Because I usually have pop dots, but now I don't. Got to find my pop dots. Okay, never mind. They're buried. There's a book in front of where I need to be, so I'm not going to do it. So again, pull out, just using my tape runner here, center my rose. So I like that I could use this rose as a background. I could use the rose as a background for that, but I can also cut out that rose. So I have a singular flower. It's a great 2-in-1 stamp set. And then now I have my leaf. So do I want it to go there? Ooh, I like that. Just kind of where it was to begin with. I really should use my sticker maker, but I'm being lazy because it's in a drawer and I don't feel like pulling it out. So here's this. And then just kind of come in and then tuck that in there. And it really just does something. So now it's like a rose floating on water. This is just a lighter color green. So this is another great way to use that background stamp. Total fluke that it's wood grain, but it totally looks like water when you do the right color. So yeah, water lily. There is a lily stamp set that I believe you can cut out the lily itself, which would look really pretty, but like the rose floating on water, you know, you see that at, what is it? All different kinds of stuff. So I think there's a lotus, there's a lot of different flowers and you can do a square card. You could do, but yeah, the stamp set, where to go? It's made to be like a slimline. But you can make it work for an A2 size card. You could do a large slimline card. I thought the mini slimline was just perfect for it. A square card would work as well. So it just has lots of options. So love the wood grain / water. The water ripples. So, so really, really fun. So this is our second card that we did together. The first one, in case you missed it, was this one with our masking technique and heat embossing using the background stamp of the chicken wire. And then we used a floral stamp on top of it. So there is that. That is a really versatile stamp. I love that. So pretty. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I have to use it. Okay. The next card we are going to do, and this one I do not have a prototype to show you because it's a 2-in-1. This is the lily. So you actually could pull the lily. I do not know. And maybe they can tell me, is there a die to just cut out the lily? If not, I think it might just be the top part of the lily, but you could fussy cut the lily out. That would look really cute too. So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So we're going to get out our Misty again. And we have one sheet. We're going to make square cards. So I have cut a 4x8, fold it in half, and you get a 4x4 square. Really easy card. And we're going to do 2 of them for the price of 1. One sheet here. Place this in here. And we're going to take our lily. Look how beautifully colored that is in the background. That is so pretty, isn't that? The die only cuts the top of the lily. So there is a die. It's buried in here somewhere, but there's a die that goes across the top. Very similar to how you could cut the top of the rose. But there are some of the floral dies, like we die cut out just the singular rose. There are a few of them that have like to cut the singular flower, but you could totally sorry, I have a little hiccups there for a second. You can fussy cut this guy out, no problem. Like just follow, they're really easy lines to cut if you wanted to fussy cut. And you could follow the background if you're not sure like where one flower ends and the other one begins. You can use the back for that, right? There's a deal right now. Oh, okay, I'm gonna put that up on screen. Awesome. There is a deal. There we go. So there is a deal right now. Link is down at the bottom to head over to Prickley Pear. Buy 3 clear stamps, get 1 for free, and must add 4 clear stamps to the cart. No coupon. That's awesome. I love it when it just does it for you. That's great. Oh, you're most welcome for showing the back of the bag. I think part of designing products is also showing how to use them and how wonderfully colored, and it gives inspiration, right? Okay, so we're going to go to here and we're going to stamp this whole kit and caboodle right here. Now, when I cut this down, this was cut down to a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 because this is a 4 by 4 and the stamp fits perfectly on there right now. I think everybody can see that coupon deal. Let's get rid of that. So there it is. All right, we're going to stamp this up. All right. It's because this fits perfectly. I guess I could do it in this, whatever. I don't know why I keep always defaulting to the center here, but there we go. Yeah, it's close enough. Okay, get my ink. There we go. Whoops. Flying inks. Only downfall to this, which we're going to do a little trick here for a second, is that I don't want that sheet of paper to move. So, and I'm going to have to kind of realign it here in a minute. We're going to add a little bit of some tape to the back. And I know I just moved it and I had it perfectly aligned. But that's the trick to also get it to not move. Oops. Now the trick is to make sure that your paper in the back does not move. I need to find my stupid pad. It's driving me nuts. Okay, we're going to do it this way. This was a trick that somebody else showed me to make sure it lines up perfectly. You can take it, set it on there. I have my tape. Now I go backwards with it. I forgot that trick until I just was like, hang on, there's a faster and easier way to do this than what I was just doing. And then you can flip it all over. There it is. And now it's stuck to the back and I can ink it up. So instead of doing what I was doing, because you've got a free floating and you want to make sure, sorry about the dog about to bark his head off, you can do it this way. And now I can really get in there. So reverse your Misty the other way around. I'm sure you've seen that done before. So there it is. So now I've got this beautiful background. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I want to keep it a little bit light, but I didn't go super, super dark on this, but there it is. And again, this one is using, which one are we using? We're using the Lily. Yes, we're using the Lily florals, sketched florals. So gorgeous. All right, so we're going to do, again, not even going to bother. You could watercolor this, which just looks so pretty. You could watercolor. We're going to just do the edges here, but we're going to do some ink blending, a little fancy ink blending. So we're going to pull out some pink. Do I have a small pink? No, it's good. We'll fudge it. So I have my big pink because I don't have anything else. And we're just going to ink blend on the pink. There we go. And just kind of hit. And again, if I'm not exactly sure where all the colors are, I can use the back of this to be like, okay, well, which part is flower, which part is leaf? And I can use the guide, which came from the artist. So I can use them as a guide about what's what here. I really, you know what? I have a small dauber. This is going to work better. So I can really get in here. That's going to work so much better. Sometimes the right tool does make the difference. So we're just going to do each and every petal. It's the fast way of coloring, guys. Super fast. And get every petal in here. It's kind of like a fake watercolor. And you could go in and watercolor. You could also go in and color. But we're just doing just a little bit something. All right, she's got this leaf here as part of it. Like I'm literally using the guide here as to what's going on here. This one here. Oops, look, it's starting to pull. It's getting a little bit, I didn't wait. I was very impatient. This one here. This one here. This one here. The back of the card is my friend right now. I think this one right here. All right, I think I've got all of the petals now. All the main petals I've got going on here. Oh, poppy. Yes, there's a poppy. I don't have it buried right now, but the link to all the supplies are down below. Okay, we're now going to pull out, we're going to go with the blue raspberry. I love that blue raspberry color. And I believe I've got, nope. Do I have another dauber? Nope. I'm trying to see what I have on hand. I did, like, of course, this is why I also do the prototypes, is because, you know what, we'll do something different. We will show you all the tools because it's right here. I'm just going to use a stencil brush. Okay, so we're going to use a stencil brush for this. There's nothing that says you have to use the real deal. So we're going to come in and just kind of hit the colors in the background. So it's just lightly, and we're going to hit everywhere too. Because this is all the leaves. It also gives it kind of a different texture here in the background. And for the most part, it's not in the centers. It's just on the edges. So you can use all different kinds of tools for ink blending. Like obviously daubers, the big daubers, the blending brushes, stencil brushes. There's no wrong way to do it. Just come in and blend around. Little blenderoonie. Use what you got. Try it out. See if you like it. Maybe you're like, not my jam. All right, I think everything else. So it's just very faint. It's very just what it is, right? Oops, there we go. Now I do have a little yellow one. Haha. I do have a tiny yellow, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to try and add a little bit of yellow just to here. Not much, just little hints. Little hints of yellow to those little spots. If it was smaller, it'd be better, but it's what I got. Use what you got. You don't have to go out and buy every fancy little tool that's out there because somebody showed you on a video, like what I'm doing right now. But it's just little bits of here and there. So that is now done. I'm going to trim this down. So look how fast that was. Look how fast and easy that went. And it's just really subtle. It's very kind of like gentle. It's not like you can go in and do fancy coloring, or you can just do simple. You don't have to go bananas with it. We are going to trim this down. And I'm going to go a little smaller because, you know, we have the oopsie here. So this is where I'm going to do just a little trimmeroonie. That's a word, right? Trimmeroonie. Okay, so oops, I don't even know what I went to. Okay, so we're going to 3 and not a half, but a titch higher than that. So we're going to cut off not a half. I love how I like my reasoning for marking is whatever I cut on one side, I have to cut on the other side. So this is now our new piece that we're using. And what we're going to do is we are going to blend, or sorry, not going to blend. We're going to cut this and make this in half. So it's okay that it's not perfect because this is now going to turn into 2 separate cards. So now that I've done my background piece, that's going to get cut in half. Here we go. And cut along diagonal. We now have 2 half pieces that are pretty florals that we're going to use for our element. Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining. Again, Prickley, if you have any questions, both myself and the owner, who, if you've seen her commenting as Prickley Pear Stamps, she is happy to answer any questions. Leave comments. We both go back and look at them after the fact. We're not done with this card yet, but yeah, happy to have a comment. Leave it. If you have questions, happy to do that as well. All right, I'm just folding my card. Here we go. So folding the card. Now we have a corner, beautiful corner, just like that. You can go that corner. You can do this corner. You can do this corner. There's so many fun corners that you could do. I think we're going to do the top corner for both, just for grins and giggles. Here's the other cards. This is the 2 for 1. You could do this for a non-square card. You could do this for an A2 size card as well. There's no wrong way to do it. But for one beautiful background stamp, right, we can get 2 cards out of that. Let's go ahead and stick these down. A little bit of adhesive is still left on there in the background. I am very surprised my daughter has not called me. Just do your best to line it up. If you want to mat this, you can, but you don't have to. The other nice thing about florals is I feel like, whoops, there is no right or wrong direction to the floral. It's any direction the flower happens to be. So, and if you don't like the way it stuck down the first time around, restick it like I just did. So that's why you don't have to use the entire background of the stamp. So that is 2 beautiful cards, but we're not done. Now we're going to grab a sentiment. This is the part I didn't get to yet. Let's do, these ones are pretty one. Rest, nap, repeat, feel better. Ooh, let me do a feel better soon. Lazy days are what the dog. Ooh, I like the nice long one. Sometimes, yes, I go with what it says. But sometimes I also go with what the length of it or what the shape of the stamp is. Is this going to fit? See, look at that. That's a nice long one. And it just fits right there, just like that. We're going to do that one. Got to get my misty back out. Because this is a great, let's get, whoops. Things are falling off my desk because I'm not putting them in drawers. I'm sticking them on the chair behind me. This is a great mass production kind of a stamp. So it really works well. Pull off my other, I have so much crap on my desk. I'm going to do a quick clean right now because I have all of that embossing ink on my back. And I need to find my stupid background. All right, for this one, because we have the exact same size card, I'm going to line it up. I can line this up once and I can stamp repeatedly. So great way to do singular stamp. Get in there. And I know this pulled off. And I'm using the whole stamp in there. That's totally fine. You can put the whole, not stamp, you can put the whole card in there. It completely works. Whoops. Double check because this is a diagonal. I want to make sure I've got the order of the words. Yeah, so it makes sense. And this is just a fast and easy card. I'm going to do one more pass on that. I dropped my ink and I got ink all over my hand and my desk. You guys can't see, but... Aw, thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate it. Yes, if you'd like to hit that like button, thumbs up button, all that fun stuff, that would be wonderful. Truly appreciate it. If you ever are in the mood, there you go, lazy days, but the doctor's over. If you do the super chats, if you do the stars, if you're on Facebook, all that would be wonderful. Since I have this everything in there, I keep wiping my hand off because I don't want to get stuff on my hands. This is where I ruin a card. It's because my hands get mucky. Yep, we're still good. I always double check, even though like it's all lined up in the corner. There's no reason not to double check it. Stamp it in there. Ooh, that one almost looks pretty good the first round, but just because I have it in here, I can easily do a second pass and really make it nice and crisp. And there it is. Beautiful. So easy way to do a stamp, like create a background. And then boom, there is your cards. So that is using the lilies. And then we used another of the sentiments from the bookshelf card, the bookshelf stamp. Which one's that? Nap time. That's cute. I like that one. Nap time is adorable. And then, so that was the last card we made together. The first, then the other cards, which are buried under my desk. Here we go. Then we made, for lack of a better term, it's the water rose card. It's not really, it's water lily, but we're going to call it water rose. And I did them in a couple different colors. I truly like this one better. I fought. I was like, it's wood. I got to go with wood. No, you don't. Pick a color. Go with the color. Go with what your gut tells you. And then here I did the lavender card 3 different ways. I definitely like the way it looks masked better versus being cut out and glued on, so it doesn't have that gap. And then we've got it in silver, beautiful silver. We have it in matted in the gold with my oopsie, because I didn't quite get it right. And then we have it in the black. And again, they all, in person, they all pop. These ones are really bright on camera, I know, but they're just all fun. And they're all using a big background stamp. So if you've got background stamps, this is a great. If you loved any of the stamps that you saw in this video, Prickly Pear stamps, the link is down below. And they do have a deal right now. Buy 3, get the last one. So if you buy 4, one of them is free. Probably the lowest price one is my guess. And they just got this really cute launch. The chicken wire stamps, all the floral stamps are there. And then that wood grain / water ripple. It totally has a second life as a water ripple. Let's go with that because it looks really cool. It does look like water ripples. I mean, it does. So thank you guys so much for joining. Please don't forget to thumbs and hearts. And if you haven't checked out Prickly Pear, check them out. If you haven't checked out me because you're watching from Prickly Pear, All of our links are down below. You can just go check us out. I'm surprised my daughter had not called and gone, Mom, come get me. But maybe she's feeling a ton better. Maybe it was just the morning ughs, because we all wake up when we're not feeling good. And the mornings are always the roughest compared to the rest of the day. Hope you have an amazing, amazing day. I'll be back next week with some more fun card making live on Erin Reed Makes with Card Making Wednesday. This time I'll be live just on my channel for Erin Reed for YouTube and Facebook. So you can catch me noon Central every Wednesday. I might have a couple of hiccups with the summer because we've got a couple of times we're going away, but I probably will have some recorded videos for you, or I might just take a vacation. We'll see. So thank you guys so much. If you have any suggestions or ideas for techniques, you're like, I would really love to learn more about that, or I have this tool, if I have the tool, or, I love suggestions. I love hearing ideas and, fun ideas, and gives me a place to launch from. I will see what I can do, but next week is the fun one. It's one I've been waiting to work on for a while, and it's using probably something you have in your stash that you're like, crap, I have a whole bunch of this. Why do I never use it? I love those kind of videos. So, and now we're gonna leave on the note of the crazy naked girls that are happening to pop up. We have a bot, we have a troll. So bye-bye. Get away from the troll. Bye, everybody.